Hello everyone, this is Snowbird Bob back again here with you today. Today is Tuesday, September the 7th, 2021. And what we're going to go over today is the upcoming next 4 to 7 days. We're going to talk about the precipitation we can expect. We're going to talk about another good shot of reinforcing cooler air and drier air into much of the central and southeastern part of the United States. And also, a little something more interesting today, we're going to take a look at some of the fall outlooks and the winter outlook of 2021-2022. We're going to take a look at what the National Weather Service uses for their long-range outlooks. The CFSV2, the USA model, they do put a lot of weight into that. Also, we go by teleconnections such as the PNA, the AO, NAO, a lot of that. I'm going to save that for another video, but let's go and get started today. I know this morning here in Mountain Home we started out at 60 degrees. It was a cool, crisp morning out there, and for a lot of us out there across Arkansas, northern Mississippi, Tennessee, Missouri, and Ohio Valley out there. But as we head into today, later today, tomorrow, especially tomorrow, we're going to warm up a little bit. And then as we get into Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, some much cooler and drier air will, go much further south. And those that didn't see a cool, crisp morning, a lot of y'all out there, especially from Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, points eastward, will get on a chance to see some much cooler and drier air. Most likely the coolest air so far of this season out there. What I have here today, this is the 12Z GFS model. This shows total precipitation over the next 24 hours, and as you can see, most of the precipitation is going to be along the Gulf Coast here. We still got that little tropical disturbance here moving toward the Florida Panhandle, and then a little bit of shower activity across southeastern Louisiana up into Mississippi, central Alabama, into central and northern Georgia, and a little bit of shower activity for most of South Carolina and a little bit for North Carolina. As you can see back here across portions of central and northeastern Oklahoma, southeastern Kansas, into central Missouri, this is going to be associated with that cold front that's going to be coming into the area as we head into the day tomorrow and tomorrow night. This is what's going to be bringing in some much cooler air. We're going to go ahead and take it out. As we get into later this week, you can see there's no precipitation at all basically for the entire forecast area besides the extreme southeastern portion and the extreme eastern portion, as you can see over here in eastern South Carolina, North Carolina. We go ahead and take it out further into this weekend, and really you're going to have beautiful weather across the entire forecast area, even all the way down here the Gulf Coast of Louisiana, southern Mississippi, Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle. So if you got any kind of beach vacations for this coming weekend, down here along the Gulf Coast, I think it's going to be beautiful weather with a little bit less humidity and hardly no chances of rainfall unless you're over here into southern Georgia and then toward the Florida Peninsula on there. And what I want to do next here, I want to take a look at the temperatures. We're going to take a look at the temperatures for the next couple days here, and it will get cooler. As you can see today, we got mostly highs in the 80s and 90s across the area. And then back into Texas, Oklahoma, they're still baking in the upper 90s to even around 100. Which you can see as we get into tonight, there's going to be some much drier and cooler air working into especially parts of the northern part of the forecast area, where we could see lows in the 50s across much of Missouri into Illinois here. But it's going to wait until the daytime on Thursday before the cool air really starts to make it any further on here. We can go ahead and take it out. I'm going to show you forecast highs and lows. So we take a look at the forecast highs on Thursday. We'll be into the 80s and lower 90s and even 70s across portions of Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, and Missouri. But even back here in Louisiana and Arkansas, where you got highs in the 80s and highs in the upper 80s and highs in the lower 90s, it's still going to be quite comfortable out there because we're going to have very low dew points in the 40s and 50s. So instead of having those high humidity dew points in the upper 60s into the 70s, we're going to be in the 40s and the 50s for its dew point, so it's going to feel quite comfortable. And also, what this drier air helps produce is as the sun sets, the temperatures really like to start to take a nosedive out there. So we'll take a look at the low temperatures this is going to be on Wednesday night. Gotta make sure I'm right here. No, yeah, this is going to be for Wednesday night. You can see that a lot of that cooler air starts to make its way further south. We got 50s now all the way down to southern Arkansas, north central Mississippi, northern Alabama, all of Tennessee, much of Arkansas, into Missouri, the Ohio Valley here in the 50s. This is going to be for Thursday morning. It almost makes it to the I-20 corridor of northeastern Texas into northern Louisiana across central Mississippi. It will be some drier air, and some lower 60s, so it will feel a lot more comfortable out there. But actually, our coolest night of the week looks to be Thursday night into Friday morning. As you can see, let me back this up here and show you all the low temperatures. This is the low temperatures for Friday. I'm sorry, this is going to be for Saturday morning. I think I got my time stamps here. Yeah, this is going to be for Friday morning low temperatures. You can see we got cool low temperatures all the way down into the hurricane impacted area of Hurricane Ida down to southeastern Louisiana, lower 60s around Baton Rouge. We got even some upper 50s across southern Mississippi, southern and south central Alabama, and up into the 50s across much of Arkansas, especially central and eastern Arkansas, 60s for the entire state of Louisiana. And this cooler, drier air will make it into eastern Oklahoma and eastern Texas as we get into Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But as you get further west into Texas, across Dallas and Amarillo, Oklahoma City, toward Enid, Oklahoma, y'all going to stay pretty warm out there. There is a chance we could cool down late next week. Some of the models are still showing that, and I'll have a detailed outlook on that as we move forward, just not in today's video. In today's video, I want to show you, but I also want to show you the high temperatures for Friday. As you can see, the high temperature for Friday is not that bad. You got 70s and 80s for much of the forecast area, and even some lower 90s across eastern Texas and northwestern Louisiana and Arkansas, but it's still going to be lower dew points, much drier air. Dew points into the 40s and 50s, so it will feel really good outside, especially in the shade, and then when the sun goes down. Even during the daytime in the straight sunlight, it's not going to be near as hot as what it could be if we had dew points, way up into the 60s and 70s like that. So much cooler air is coming later this week. Then as we get into later this week and this weekend, hardly no precipitation at all. Even along the Gulf Coast could see cooler and drier air out there. So it's going to be a lot more comfortable even all the way for the Gulf Coast of the Florida Panhandle, southern Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana out there. What I want to take a look at next, this is pretty exciting here to take a look at. Now I've been taking a look at this, at a lot of these models, long range seasonal forecast models, for several months now. We're going to take a quick look at this. This is the CFS V2. This is for the month of October. It looks like that much of the forecast area, you can see average temperatures to maybe a little above average temperatures across the northern part of the forecast area. And keep in mind, this model changes 4 times a day, but it's been pretty consistent on here. And as you can take it into November, it looks like November we could see the southeastern part of the United States, and this is for the outlook of November. We're going to take a look at precipitation anomalies as well. This is just the temperature anomalies, and it looks like that we could stand a better chance of the eastern part of the United States seeing a little bit below average temperatures as we head in the month of November. And also it could be around average for parts of the central and western part of the forecast area. As you can see, above average across the western United States and parts of the Canada and the northern United States. And then we want to take a look at December. I think this winter coming up, we're going to see a big swing. Also, before we get into that, if you like cold winters and with lots of winter precipitation, you usually want to see a warmer than average or an average to warmer than average November before we get into, December, January, and February. And on, as in the past, say 15 or 20 years, usually a warmer than average November, or an average November temperature wise, usually leads up to a pretty good winter. It looks like this coming up winter is going to be colder overall than last winter. I know we had that big outbreak in February, the historical cold outbreak. There's no way to tell if we're going to have that again. But that was just in a very short time period, about a 1 week time period that we cooled down like that. So if you take the winter overall, last winter was not that cold. Everybody remembers that big cold blast with all the sleet and the heavy snow, and a lot of y'all out there loved it. I know I liked it. But of course, as I always say, ice is the worst part. I don't like ice, but I do like snow, and I don't know a lot of you out there like that as well. Okay, this is December's forecast. We'll take it out and look at January. And if some of these long-range forecast models come to fruition out there, we got the chance to have a very cold winter out there. I mean, this pretty much takes over our entire forecast area. We got temperatures, this is Celsius, anywhere from 5 to 8 degrees Celsius below average for the month of January. In this light green and this darker green and blue, all the way over the central part of the forecast area, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, all the way out to the southeastern part of the forecast area. And as you can see, the run before this, it still had a very cold winter for much of the forecast area. So these models are starting to be very consistent, showing the cold air. And we take it out and look at February. You can see the February looks like that on this one model run, the southeastern part of the forecast area in the southeastern part of the United States could see a little warmer than average, and then colder than average across the central, western, and northwestern part of the forecast area. We take a look at the previous run of the February, and it's still got that cold air lurking up there across north central United States and to the central United States. So that we could have and then we take it out and go and look at March. It looks like March wants to kind of flip-flop. We could have a very cold start to winter in December, and then really get cold January, February, and then kind of flip over to a warmer than average part as we head into March and to April out there. And what I want to do now is take a look. Also, I want to appreciate y'all joining in and watching these videos. I really appreciate it. I really enjoy putting them out. A lot of it's interesting. I know some of the weather may be boring at times, but some of it's very interesting. Just like today, taking a look at these long-range seasonal forecasts, this is very interesting to look at. And what I want to do now is look at these. This is the precipitation anomaly. We'll take a look at this is for October, November, and December combined, and then we'll take a look at let's see, that's November, December, January. Yeah, you can see that if we break down each month, it's like November by itself, December by itself, January and February by itself. In fact, I want to try to do that on here. Let's see if I can may switch over to do that on here. Okay, I got it here. This is what I was wanting to show y'all here. See, it looks like it's going to be a pretty dry October. You can see across much of the central, southeastern part of the forecast area, drier than average in this dark brown, light brown shaded area. We can kind of blow it up on here into our forecast area. And then it looks like a little wetter than average out in parts of western Texas and Oklahoma into Kansas, up into the northern Midwest there. And that's why I'm thinking that we'll have this is not the only reason I'm thinking we'll have a dry fall. Like I said, there's a lot more to it than just looking at long-range seasonal forecast models. We take it in November, we got a very dry November. You can see that there, most of the forecast area is well below average and standard deviations below normal as far as precipitation. So November could be an average to a little above average, and then below average as far as precipitation. And it looks like winter basically flips on a dime out there. We go to December, it's still dry, but it's going through that transition from a drier period into a much wetter period. Look at there. We can take a look at January. In January, we got a colder than average month, and then we got higher than average precipitation, especially along this route from Dallas up to Texarkana, over to Monroe, Louisiana, Shreveport, Little Rock, Arkansas, up to Jonesboro, Arkansas, up into southern southeastern Missouri, and to southern Illinois and Indiana there. And then it really picks up as we get into February. And this is usually climatology, our best month to see winter weather. And I tell you what, if you're a winter weather lover out there and you like cold and snow,